When most people hear the word DeLorean, they don't think about sales figures, bankruptcies, or underpowered engines. They think about a stainless steel time machine shooting flames down a parking lot at 88 miles per hour. The DeLorean DMC-12 is one of the most recognizable cars ever built. It starred in one of Hollywood's greatest film trilogies, inspired generations of car enthusiasts, and remains a fixture at car shows more than 40 years after production ended. Yet despite becoming an automotive icon, the DeLorean was actually a commercial disaster. The company produced only around 9,000 cars before collapsing into bankruptcy in 1982. What was supposed to be the beginning of a revolutionary sports car company instead became one of the biggest failures in automotive history. Today, we're looking at the fascinating story of the DeLorean DMC-12, how it was created, why it failed, how Back to the Future saved its legacy, and why surviving examples are now worth more than ever. Before there was a DeLorean car, there was a man named John DeLorean. John DeLorean was one of the biggest stars in the American auto industry during the 1960s and early 1970s. This man, low-key a legend. While working at General Motors, he helped cook up legendary performance cars like the Pontiac GTO and Pontiac Firebird. Many considered him a visionary who understood what enthusiasts wanted. But our guy wanted more than just working for a corporation. In 1975, he left General Motors and founded the DeLorean Motor Company, often shortened to DMC. His goal was ambitious: create a futuristic sports car unlike anything else on the road. The car would feature gull-wing doors, a rear-mounted engine, stainless steel body panels, advanced safety engineering, and exotic European styling. The plan was to have it be the car of the future. At least that was the plan. To design the car, DeLorean enlisted famous Italian designer Giorgetto Giugiaro, whose work included some of the most influential sports cars of the era. This man really cooked up some of your favorite cars like the BMW M1 and the first Golf GTI. The resulting DMC-12 looked unlike anything on American roads. Its brushed stainless steel body gave it a futuristic appearance. Its gull-wing doors opened upward like an exotic supercar. Even today, the design still looks modern. To build the car, the British government offered major financial incentives to construct a factory in Dunmurry, Northern Ireland. The project was intended to create thousands of jobs in an area suffering from economic hardship and political unrest. The factory was designed to build up to 30,000 vehicles annually. Everything seemed set for success. Then reality hit. The first issue was delays. The original engineering concepts proved difficult to manufacture. Many elements of the car had to be redesigned with help from Lotus founder Colin Chapman. The final chassis shared similarities with the Lotus Esprit. Then came quality control issues. The factory workforce was largely inexperienced because the company was hiring and training thousands of workers from scratch. Early cars suffered from inconsistent assembly quality, electrical issues, and fit and finish problems. Customers who expected a premium sports car often received a vehicle that felt unfinished. Unfortunately, the biggest problem was still to come: the performance. The DeLorean looked like a supercar, but it definitely didn't perform like one. Under the rear deck sat a 2.85-liter PRV V6 engine developed jointly by Peugeot, Renault, and Volvo. In U.S. specification, it produced approximately 130 horsepower. Mind you, an early Miata is pushing around the same numbers bone stock. There's a reason why Miatas are so beloved and desired, not the DeLorean. Speaking of which, the DeLorean needed roughly 10 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. That wasn't terrible by early 1980s standards, but buyers expected much more. The problem was perception. The car looked like a futuristic supercar. People expected Ferrari performance. Instead, they got something closer to a stylish grand touring coupe. Automotive journalists frequently praised the styling but criticized the lack of power. Enthusiasts still debate the engine choice today, with performance being one of the most common criticisms in owner communities. Originally, the DMC-12 was intended to cost around $12,000. That's actually where the 12 in DMC-12 came from. But production delays, engineering changes, and rising costs pushed the final price dramatically higher. By launch, the car cost more than twice the original target price. This created a major problem. Customers shopping in that price range suddenly had alternatives: Porsche, Jaguar, Mercedes-Benz, or even a Corvette. The DeLorean looked exotic. But when buyers compared performance, quality, and dealer support, many chose established brands instead. Thus, sales quickly slowed. By 1982, DeLorean Motor Company was running out of money. The company needed additional funding to survive. Investors became nervous. Sales were falling. The British government refused further financial support without additional investment. The company's financial situation rapidly deteriorated. Then came the event that would define the company's downfall. As if the car was not bad enough, in October 1982, John DeLorean was arrested in a high-profile FBI coke trafficking sting operation. Although he was later acquitted after a successful entrapment defense, the damage was done. Public confidence evaporated, and the company collapsed before he could clear his name. The DeLorean Motor Company declared bankruptcy. Production ended. Thousands of workers lost their jobs. Only about 9,000 DeLoreans had been produced. The dream was over, or so it seemed. In 1985, something incredible happened. Director Robert Zemeckis and producer Bob Gale needed a vehicle for a time machine in a new science fiction movie. They ultimately chose the DeLorean. It was the perfect choice. Its gull-wing doors looked futuristic. Its stainless steel body looked like spacecraft material. Its unusual appearance made it believable as a machine capable of traveling through time. The film became a massive success. Suddenly, a car that had failed commercially became one of the most recognizable vehicles in movie history. Ironically, the movie premiered after the company was already dead. Back to the Future didn't save DeLorean Motor Company, but it did save the DeLorean's legacy. Most failed cars disappear. The DeLorean didn't. That's because it had three things very few vehicles ever achieve. First, a unique design. Second, a fascinating real-life story. Third, one of the most famous movie appearances ever. Even people who know nothing about cars can instantly recognize a DeLorean. The stainless steel, the gull-wing doors, the time machine conversion. Few vehicles have such a strong identity. Cars like the Ford Mustang and Chevrolet Corvette became famous through decades of success. The DeLorean became famous because of a single movie role. And somehow, that was enough. Today, the DeLorean is no longer considered a failed used car. It's a collector vehicle. Because only around 9,000 were built and thousands still survive, values have steadily increased over the years. Approximately 6,000 to 6,500 examples are believed to remain. Typical market values in today's collector market are approximately $70,000 to $100,000 for excellent original cars. Special movie replicas built to resemble the Back to the Future time machine can sell for significantly more depending on authenticity and quality. Haggerty's valuation tools continue to track strong collector interest in the model. For a car that was once considered a commercial failure, that's an impressive turnaround. Total side note, but every time I am in Monterey or Carmel, I always pass by this one car rental spot. And what do you know, they have a DeLorean to rent for a day. I would be lying if I told you I didn't at least think about trying it out for a day. But these prices? I think I'll just drive in Forza Horizon. For decades, many believed the DeLorean story was over. The factory had closed. John DeLorean had passed away in 2005, and the DMC-12 had become nothing more than a beloved piece of automotive history. Then, 40 years after the original car debuted, the DeLorean name suddenly returned. Then all of a sudden, DeLorean teased a new car, and the car world was shook. And it turns out to be all electric. In 2022, a company operating under the DeLorean brand unveiled the Alpha 5, an all-electric grand touring coupe designed to bring the iconic name into the modern era. The new car was styled by Ital Design, the same design house responsible for the original DMC-12. Like its predecessor, it featured dramatic gull-wing doors and futuristic styling. The Alpha 5 was a very different machine from the original. Instead of a gasoline-powered V6, it was designed as a fully electric vehicle with an estimated 300-mile driving range and all-wheel drive performance. DeLorean claimed it could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds, and even advertised a 0 to 88 miles per hour time of 4.35 seconds, a playful nod to Back to the Future. Unlike the original DMC-12, which was a two-seat sports car, the Alpha 5 was designed as a larger four-seat grand tourer aimed at competing with modern luxury electric vehicles. At first, the announcement generated enormous excitement. After all, the DeLorean name still carried tremendous recognition around the world. Fans imagined a modern interpretation of the stainless steel icon they had grown up watching in movies. But as time passed, questions began to emerge. Production timelines slipped. The company provided fewer updates. Reports surfaced of legal disputes surrounding the project, including claims that Design had not been fully paid for development work. By 2025 and 2026, questions remained about whether the Alpha 5 would ever reach full production. Many enthusiasts also debated whether the Alpha 5 was truly a DeLorean. The DeLorean DMC-12 is one of the greatest automotive contradictions ever created. As a business venture, it failed. As a sports car, it disappointed many buyers. It was underpowered, expensive, plagued by quality issues, and built by a company that survived only a few years. Yet somehow none of that matters today. Because the DeLorean accomplished something far more difficult than commercial success. It became immortal. More than 40 years after production ended, people still recognize it instantly. It remains one of the most famous movie cars ever created, one of the most unique designs of the 1980s, and proof that sometimes cultural impact matters more than sales numbers. Most cars are remembered because they were great. The DeLorean is remembered because it was unforgettable. And thanks to a certain time-traveling scientist and his Flux capacitor, the DeLorean DMC-12 will probably remain famous for generations to come.